Top news as of January 9, 2026. Here is a comprehensive summary of the top news, categorized by sector. World affairs. Escalation in Venezuela and U.S. oil control. Tensions between the United States and Venezuela have reached a critical boiling point. The Trump administration announced it will control the sales of Venezuelan oil indefinitely and unilaterally decide how the proceeds are utilized. White House officials argue this measure is necessary to prevent the Maduro government from misusing funds, claiming the administration would go broke within weeks without compliance. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate is advancing a war powers resolution to limit the president's ability to take further military action in the region without congressional approval. This comes amidst conflicting reports of military strikes, with some sources citing an operation dubbed Southern Spear, targeting facilities near Caracas. Minneapolis IC shooting and FBI intervention. A major domestic crisis is unfolding in Minneapolis after an Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agent shot and killed a U.S. citizen, identified as Renee Good, a mother and poet. The incident has sparked immediate nationwide protests. In a controversial move, the FBI has taken over the investigation and reportedly cut off the Minnesota State Authority's access to evidence, leading to accusations of a federal cover-up. The Trump administration has vehemently defended the agent, claiming self-defense, while local officials express outrage at the lack of transparency. Iran internet blackout and protests. Monitoring groups have confirmed a near-total nationwide internet blackout in Iran as anti-government protests escalate. Reports indicate the death toll is rising as security forces clash with demonstrators. The blackout is seen as a severe measure by the state to suppress information flow and organize a crackdown on the growing civil unrest.
Economy and finance. Looming copper crisis due to AI and defense. A new alarming study by S&P Global warns of a substantial shortfall in global copper supply, projecting a deficit of up to 10 million metric tons by 2040. The report identifies the explosive growth of artificial intelligence, data centers, and surging defense spending as key drivers that are stripping supply faster than mines can produce. This shortage is described as a systemic risk that could bottleneck global economic growth and technological advancement. China's economic slowdown deepens. New data from Beijing highlights a continuing economic deceleration in China. Fixed asset investment has fallen significantly, with property investment plunging nearly 16%. Despite aggressive fiscal policies intended to stimulate the market, domestic demand remains dormant. This slowdown is creating ripple effects in global markets, particularly for countries that rely heavily on exporting raw materials to the Chinese manufacturing sector. U.S. markets. Gas prices drop and inflation expectations. U.S. natural gas futures fell by 3% as mild weather forecasts reduced the anticipated demand for heating. However, on the macro front, consumer inflation expectations for the year ahead have edged up to 3.4%, signaling that Americans are still wary of rising costs despite some stabilization in the broader market. Corporate spotlight. Samsung and Amazon. Samsung Electronics is forecasting record-breaking profits for Q4, driven largely by the rebound in memory chip prices. In the U.S., Amazon is making aggressive moves to counter competitors, announcing the expansion of Alexa Plus to the web to compete directly with generative AI models like ChatGPT.
Technology. The agentic AI war heats up. The battle for AI dominance is shifting from simple chatbots to agentic workflows, AI that can autonomously perform tasks. Amazon's push with Alexa Plus is a direct response to OpenAI and Google. Simultaneously, reports suggest OpenAI is earmarking a massive $50 billion pool for employee stock grants, signaling its intent to retain top talent in an increasingly cutthroat labor market. Cybersecurity. Congress targeted. Security reports have emerged indicating that Chinese state-sponsored actors successfully hacked the email systems of U.S. Congressional Committee staff. This breach has raised alarms regarding national security and the vulnerability of government infrastructure to foreign espionage. Hardware and physical AI. The tech industry is seeing a pivot toward physical AI, the integration of advanced AI into robotics and physical hardware. ARM, the chip design giant, launched a new unit dedicated to this sector, aiming to power the next generation of robots for both industrial and automotive applications. Meanwhile, Dell is executing a strategic reset of its premium XPS laptop brand to better compete in the high-end hardware market.